There she is. Yeah.
That's her normal group. And then
It's okay. So this radiant bombshell is Susie.
Hello, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm running late. Thank you for being so patient.
Yeah. So there's sushi back there for you.
Oh, nice.
Some drinks. Make
Go,
yourself.
go, go.
Yeah, go get
I'm
yourself
not
going.
drinking. I don't know.
and don't, my accent apparently is so Quebecois because my French
Yeah.
teacher is from Quebec. So even my wife speaks French and she doesn't like me speaking French when we're in France because it sounds so guttural. I'm like, oh, tabernacle, it sounds like that.
And that's going in our podcast, right? Yeah.
Oh, no, you're thinking of an episode of Bones that was supposed to be in Roswell, and I was a restaurant owner that had a lot of cool stuff. Spoiler alert, I was the murderer. So there you go.
Nice.
Killed the guy with the toy.
Well, we have some sushi back here. If you'd like some sushi, some drinks. Yeah. Let's calm down.
Yeah, let's take that job. We don't
And
want you angry.
what about right? What about Newton, Australia? What was that about?
Oh yeah. So my fiance now, we were living together for 18 years, and she got promoted to Australia. So they moved all of us and our dogs down under, and we lived in Sydney for 4 years.
Awesome.
And I ran a pop-up comedy club and loved it. Other than it was super expensive.
She does stand up. She does stand up. She just did stand up last weekend. It was her debut, actually. It was quite a night. Let me tell you.
It was quite a night.
Yeah.
Well, I was running a pop-up club called the Hilarium, and it's still my co-partner out there down under still runs it as a open mic thing as a pop-up. So
I loved the penguin march. It was the cutest thing ever. All these little pink ones come out of the ocean, and there's
it's breeding season.
It's amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's really cool. They show it on TV all the time.
Do they? I didn't even know about it. Tell me that.
Right?
News event of the
I don't
day.
want to watch TV really.
Hey guys, we're here with my co-host Susie, who can't stop laughing, and my good friend Rob, who runs a lot of our drone work for our films, and of course a very talented and good friend of mine, Dean Haglund. Thank you so much, my friend, for making the time tonight. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
There's a lot of things, a lot of directions we can go, but I would like to start with some of the questions that I have regarding you and your appearance and your time on the X-Files. How did you get that role?
Yeah, that's the weird thing. How did that happen? No, it was an audition, but it was an audition just for just a one episode. So there was no plan for ever to be like the 11 seasons that it ended up going, and they had no idea what they wanted. So James Wong and Glenn Morgan had written these characters that they saw in an airport, which were like handing out UFO pamphlets, and one guy was in a suit, one guy's in a leather jacket, another guy in a long hair and a rock shirt. And they said, oh my God, got to put that in a show one of these days. So they wrote these characters in the first season of the X-Files, and the casting department and the director didn't know what they should look like. So normally you audition, I had long blonde hair. So you normally audition like with everybody in Vancouver who has long hair. So you see the same 10 people normally. But in this one, it was like guys with shaved heads and military fatigues and people I've never seen before. And it was like, were you in Vancouver at that time?
No, but I have been in Toronto.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was actually on, was it like Good Morning Canada or Canada AM?
Oh, yes, Canada AM.
Toronto,
yeah.
Back in like 2012, maybe 2013. So I couldn't get any food. I hadn't eaten since like I left. And the next morning, they pick me up in a limo and they bring me down to Canada AM. Yeah. And I go in, I'm in the green room. I'm having a coffee. I'm like, would you guys mind if I could, I don't need a breakfast sandwich, but maybe a bagel or something. And they found me this little blue muffin. I took one bite out of the blue muffin and like, come on, you got to go on nonstop. And next thing I know, I walk on set. There's that studio is massive. Yeah. And it was the sofas and everything and the equipment. And I was like, oh my God. I had seriously, in the last 24 hours, I had a bite of a blueberry muffin, a couple sips of coffee, and bang, and you're live. Good morning, Thom. was like, seriously?
Did you start like hallucinating and stuff?
Over. Yeah.
You
Oh
were
my God. That was like, yeah. And it was winter. The snowbanks were unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
But I really liked Toronto. It was like a mix of New York, and it was very artsy, yet there were a lot of murals on the outside of buildings. One of the buildings I went into film, I went on Inner Space TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went on that. And the building was like all brick and looked really run down. And as I went in, it was all modern inside. I mean, it was beautiful. Oh,
yeah, they started that. They say it's New York City without the trash. Is basically
it was
a lot of TV shows that are set. It's supposed to be in New York or Gotham. All of those DC series are all shot in Toronto. Aspect of Toronto. It's really great.
Hey, Dean, do you go back? I mean, do you have family there?
Not in. I got an ex-wife in Toronto. We're not going to see. But I have family in Winnipeg and Vancouver still. So I get back.
I am obviously I'm into mummifying things. So hey, just let me know where she is, and
I think she's watching. What are you doing?
Next time we have you on. No,
this is my art studio. I do a lot of art, and so I thought I'd paint this giant mural so that when people are on these Zoom calls, they could say, "Oh, hey, yes, I'm an artist. I did that." Prepare for show and tell, but. This is sort of a series I'm working on of a bunch of cartoon bears doing graphically bear-like things.
That scares me. I'm not gonna lie.
I know this terrifies a lot of people. So
poor Pooh.
Poor Susie. You're gonna have nightmares now.
Sorry, Susie. I won't show you the Yogi Bear one then. That's even more graphic.
I'll close my eyes. You can show it to him.
No. It's not even completed yet, but. But yeah, so I do a lot of that.
I'm
explain that a little bit.
I need you to tell me what
so she wants to go back to Pooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you do?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to know?
I just want to know what.
What's the deal with it?
Yeah. Like what were you going through at that
time? Yeah.
My mom was an art therapist for a while, so like
the idea of animalizing and cartooning scary, terrifying animals. Bears I grew up with in Vancouver killed people. And so to have a bear just go, I like honey and I'm cute and cuddly, you put the two together and you go, here's a bear that's, doing what bears do.
I don't like that at all.
That's his friend Rabbit, right?
No, that's a human skull. That's human.
You think you know someone?
Yeah. You think you know Pooh when he's over here.
I have a whole series of Norman Rockwell paintings that are alien infused. So, like the little kid at the doctor's office and having the dolly and the doctor's listening to it with the stethoscope, instead of the little dolly, it's the chest burster from Aliens. The little kid's just standing there and the doctor.
And kids do act kind of
odd sometimes.
They do.
Gotta be prepared.
Yeah. Does that terrify you too, Susie? I'm sorry.
Kids do terrify me. I have two of them, and they terrify me every day.
Wow. Okay. I think here, let me terrify you some more since this is going so well. That we see. So this was originally an old woman. They're praying in a restaurant, and these two are looking on. But I replaced them with aliens, and they're eating raw human flesh. And the two guys are just curious. They're not terrified or anything.
Which I'm trying to get Thom to go to. It's called Joe's Diner. That's where Norman Rockwell went to eat every single day. And there's an actual painting that he made where it's a police officer.
Yeah, the famous one. And the little kid beside it.
Right.
Yeah.
Joe's Diner is where Norman Rockwell painted that, and behind the actual people that sat in that diner. They have a picture on the wall where it's a Norman Rockwell painting of the police officer and the little boy with the bindle on the floor.
Yeah.
And then there's the actual picture 30 years later of what the police officer looked like and what the man looked like. They trying to recreate the whole thing.
Oh, fantastic. I did see somebody actually did a painting similar to that, but instead of little boy, it was an alien as well. So seems all of us artists had the same similar idea of just alienifying Norman Rockwell.
Yeah, if you do get a chance to come up this way, go to Joe's Diner.
Yeah.
And they have like an actor's wall of fame
Oh yeah.
Every actor that's been in there, because there's been a million actors.
I bet.
Mike Tyson, Joe Frazier, all them. They have autographed pictures on the wall, and you could probably, with you being such a big actor, could get your name on the wall. And such a big fan.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah, they're big. Oh, hey, we're all having a nice sip of water. Is that what we're doing?
Sorry. I get distracted just a
we're
little
really
bit
casual here, you know.
Oh, no.
But I was thinking about what Rob said about, you know, Norman Rockwell and your flavor of art. And it was such a wide range there. I mean, I think the most crazy thing I ever saw with a Norman Rockwell, right? There's like a kid relieving himself in a bathroom at a doctor's office or something, right?
Oh yeah. That's
like as far as he goes. And here we've got Pooh ripping the skin off, you know, his buddy, right?
I didn't realize it'd be. I find it pretty. My wife loves it, so I don't know.
Hey, happy wife, happy life. You're doing good. I mean, whatever floats your boat.
There's a couple actually where you seem to be taking care of Scully, where it looks like she fell, or you know, it's circulating right now. It's one of the few pictures I've seen.
Yeah. So that would have been the one in Vegas where she is brainwashed for some reason, and I'm in the autopsy room with her getting nauseous. But so every time I leave to throw up, I come back and she's doing something else weird. And then the last time I go to throw up and come back, she's fallen over. So I think that's that shot.
Oh.
But
do you stay in touch with them, like David? And
I run into them sometimes when I'm in LA or at the conventions, of course. And it's always lovely to see them. But we're not on the phone every day going, how you doing?
No, yeah. What do you think of David, you know, to work with him? What was it like? I don't know how many episodes you actually got to work with him, because we do film too. We're on you know, be in a movie with somebody, but you never actually see them, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, we did scenes together. He is the funniest guy. And this is coming from someone who does stand-up, the most martini dry sense of humor you would ever imagine. Unbelievable. It's just like, something will come out of his mouth and it's a funny line, but he is deadpan and just staring you in the eye with not even a challenge to laugh, not even a twinkle, just looking. And he just said the funniest thing you've ever heard. And he's not laughing. He's not even moving. He's just looking at you. My favorite story of his sense of humor is the final day of shooting. You know, you always get a chair with your name on it. It's called the chair back, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And they take that off those directors' chairs, and you get it. And like the end of high school, everybody autographs it for each other, right? So hanging it around, and I'm getting everybody's autograph on my chair back. And I hand mine to David, and I'm signing someone else's. And he hands it back. Go, hey, thanks, David. And he goes, hey, did you read what I wrote? I'm like, oh, no, let's see. And then I squinted. His handwriting's really hard, but he says, I wish we had a sex scene together. And I laugh. And then he just stares at me. He goes, no, I'm serious.
No, I'm serious.
Super funny. Hilarious.
I bet you still have that.
I do. I do still have that. But it's just funny. It was one of the funniest things.
What was she like? Because she seems kind of serious. She plays a more serious role.
Yeah, no, that's not her at all. She is hilarious.
Really?
Enjoyed to work with. And surprisingly, you know, it was her first big role. And so you really saw her develop as an actor, you know, because originally she was a bit nervous on some of the first season, stuff like that. And then as she gained in stature and got more and more incredible writing and performance chances on the show, she just blew up as an actress, and it was unbelievable. And then if you watch her now on anything on BBC, you're like, is this the same actor I remember from the 90s? That's unbelievable, the growth she's had.
That's
nice.
great. That's wonderful.
Good for her.
Yeah,
really good for her. So yeah, so they're rebooting the X-Files.
I know, that's where I was going with this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. But instead of government conspiracies, it's going to be AI stuff, artificial intelligence, and it's sort of going to be this new X-Files exploration. And then, as one of the producers said to me, you know, if it's all AI, you're the only character that's stuck in AI from the original series. So,
wow, that's gonna be cool.
So now you really are. Now you are the lone gunman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alone.
Good job. Good job.
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see that. I love it.
So
that's really
neat.
cool. Yeah, congratulations. That's
I know, it's a gift that keeps on giving. It's the weirdest thing. Thinking it was just, like how many other shows you did in Vancouver back then? Street Justice, The Commish, like all these terrible shows from Stephen J. Cannell.
X-Files is like one of the best shows ever. I mean,
it really holds up.
And nothing comes close. I mean, Star Trek was awesome. X-Files. 50 years from now, when you look back to these times, you're going to go, "Oh, the X-Files was amazing." Remember? Okay, so I've got a question for you.
Yes.
So, on set with David and everybody, do they really believe in the topic?
Oh yeah.
I mean, what is their overall? I'm sure it changed a little bit over the years as well, but they were talking about a topic that was taboo a little bit back in the day. Now it's not. Now, of course, with the UAP hearings and all that, I mean, what do you? I know you're into the UFO topic, right? And you've done some.
I know a lot.
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, the roles were reversed. Scully was kind of more of a believer than David was.
Really?
Yeah. David had a PhD in English Lit from Columbia, I'm going to say. And even he did interviews where the writers dug up his thesis. And so he would read that. And so because he came from that sort of intellectual bent, he had a huge pile of skepticism of all sorts of things that were talked about in the X-Files. Whereas Scully was like, oh, no, it could happen. Gillian was much more open to these ideas. We'd have Pi at Dupar's and Jordan Maxwell and Roger Lear. They would all talk about mind-blowing stuff and said, oh, you should come to, a UFO convention. You should come to, this conspiracy con, come up to San Jose. And so slowly like that, then I started meeting everybody else, everybody basically. And you, Thom.
Yeah, they were both from Manhattan, right?
Well, Gillian technically was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in my neighborhood. But she says she was born actually in England. And then like 6 months to a year, she went to Grand Rapids. And then from Michigan, I think even she still did high school in Manhattan. So I think she went to Manhattan pretty young. And then David, of course, he was always a New Yorker. And
he was born on my birthday, February 12th, 1960.
Okay, stalker.
Wow. Thank God you were there, Sue. Dial that back. That's fantastic.
Yeah, he is. He's born on my birthday. We're both the same day, same age, everything. Yeah.
Wow. But not the same town.
I was born in New York, too. I'm not from Manhattan, but upstate New York.
Oh, right.
Albany area, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I will tell you, the one time I was terrified was in my agent's office.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's already terrifying. That guy scared me. But they get the advanced copy of the X-Files script because they were repping numerous people and everybody, they send all the clients in for every episode for stuff. And the episode Home was lying on his desk. The script of Home. And if you remember that one, that's with the inbred brothers, the Peacock brothers, and the mother who has no arms and legs on a skateboard under the bed.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the most
Sorry.
disturbing episodes. So that's the only script I put down. It was more terrifying to read than you actually saw it on camera.
Were you in that one?
No, thank God. It was terrible. It was set in the Outback. It was all these inbred boys.
Yeah.
From a mother who had no limbs that they bred under the bed on a skateboard.
Well, that's what you were talking about. You're like, that would have freaked me out.
Yeah, so
that's really weird, right? Who wrote that one, right? So
yeah, well, I'll tell you who wrote that one. It was the same guys who wrote The Lone Gunman, James Morgan and Glenn Wong, and they were working on the other show that Chris Carter had that was with Millennium. It was called, and it was the serial killer guy who could psychically align himself to serial killers. Do you remember this series called Millennium? It was terrifying.
I don't, but
anyway, it got canceled. Yes, it got canceled, and they said, you just go back to writing the X-Files. And so they wrote something that was going to be so toxic that it would be unfilmable. And so they were so mad that they wrote this thing about this inbreds and stuff like that. And everybody's like, oh, great. James and Glenn's coming. We don't have to worry. That script's going to be fantastic. Let's just try to get this shot in the 12 days that we have allotted because it's a big production. Mm-hmm. And then they got the script and they read it and went, oh, my God, this is terrible. We can't do this. But they were already 3 days to prep before they had to shoot it. And they shot it. And then the network saw it and they said, okay, we're never going to show this again. This is terrible. And then what happened is on FX on Thanksgiving, they had us come and host the live feeds in between the episodes of a marathon watching session of the X-Files during Thanksgiving. And everybody chip in and tell us what your favorite episode is. And as the things came in, it's like, home, yeah. And they would say, so how do you see this character? The producers would say.
I would say, I'm going to feed my kids like this.
Yeah. They're going to like it.
You next. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, that is weird. That is a creepy one.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yes.
Oh, wow. No kidding. Okay.
Yeah, it was a skateboard that they kept her under the bed. And after they were done having their way with her, they'd slide her back under the bed and leave her there.
Oh, gosh.
They had another brother.
Right, until they had another brother. She wouldn't come out at all. She wouldn't come out to dinner. She wouldn't come out to nothing.
Oh, my God. That is
space under her bed was her home, and that was it.
Okay.
So how to write a show to a stop.
Pass the
really
green bean.
It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, pass the green bean.
Who wants stuffing?
Yeah, who wants
stuffing? Tom.
Oh, that's even better. That was nice. I set you up for that.
Yeah, you did actually.
Mister. Holy.
That was a misstep of words if I ever heard one.
No, I actually got my tap. I think that's actually quite a very good pun, Tom.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you very much. That's coming from a professional comedian.
Hey,
no, yeah, she's starting out. She's doing okay.
Opening for people? What are you doing?
I just did an open mic the other day, but I've been in the industry since I was 16 in some shape or fashion. So I feel like it's not that big of a stretch, I guess.
No.
So I do like commercial acting and improv. I produce stuff, short films, and then I also had ran an agency for a while and I taught acting classes. So it just it wasn't that bad. It was I don't know. It was fine.
Yeah. Well, she just winged it too. We're like, what do you
I did just wing it. I decided the day
I'm
before.
over her place. I'm like, what are you going to do? And she's like, I was going to do this and this. And she's going to screw it. And she just read the crowd, felt the crowd out and came up with a couple things. And when, she got an idea of what they were receptive to, she just ran with it,
Wow.
Yeah. Nothing really embarrasses me because I've been through so many embarrassing things in my life that
what's the big deal?
I don't know. Yeah.
To me, that
I face a lot of rejection too, personally.
You're used to it.
You're really bumming me out with your life story here. I thought you're.
It's the worst thing that can happen. They can hate me, Oh my God.
Well, who cares?
I'm never going to see this guy again anyway,
I'm winded by this monologue you're having right here.
Yeah. And the guy with UFOs all over his shirt, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that made her feel right at home. So we were like,
Oh, come here. Give me a hug.
Mathematically, it's impossible that we are the only life form on the 14 billion light years of space. And so, but are they coming here and shining flashlights up our butt? I'm not sure about that.
That's just
inbred kids, flashlights in your butt. I'm so glad.
I'm just saying. The whole thing about anal probes and aliens got wiped out in COVID when suddenly everybody was buying toilet paper for no reason that had nothing to do with the pandemic. So it seems that all of America has something anal problem. So anal probes was the anal issue of the 90s. Overbuying toilet paper during COVID pandemic, the anal problem of the
stock in toilet paper. That's what you do.
Yes, we come from a Puritan culture from the Mayflower where they're all anal retentives, shall we say?
Wow, there you go.
With a little hat with a buckle on it. Nothing says my mind is closed down with a hat with a buckle on it.
Speaking of buying toilet paper, this is kind of off topic, but you need to be careful because they're learning that like there's all these chemicals in the toilet papers, and so like they're coming out with like like a more natural,
like a
really expensive toilet paper.
not like a leaf, but like
fresh with an antibiotic.
You're saying the highly bleached dioxin, the bleached dioxins of the paper, of the toilet paper, it's terrible. Yes, we knew about this in Vancouver years ago.
Of course,
so now I'm host of a weekly show called Scared and Alone, which we send one person, our ghost bait, into a haunted house by herself with just a phone and a K2 reader. And then we have various paranormal investigators and psychics as our guests. I host it, and they tell her where to go in the house, what to experience. And it is terrifying. The show is terrifying. And people can join in and be part of the investigation in a live interactive manner in quoting. But we have to say as a disclaimer that a lot of these entities give off electric fields and stuff like that. So everybody who's been on that show has had something troubling. Either their laptops blow up and start sparking, the monitors go. I've had my robot vacuum start up in the middle of the show. Whoa. Even though it was unplugged and the battery, and it just started going around. And now every time I come in my studio and I've disconnected that thing, like I've stopped it from working, it's somewhere on the floor in my studio.
Wow.
It works in the middle of the night. Yeah. So one of the other guys who works with a lot of Ouija boards said, you should paint the Ouija board on your floor of the entire studio and see every time your robot stops, write that letter down, because maybe that's something, it's so weird.
No, it's a good idea, actually.
I know, isn't it?
I would probably do that. I'm like,
Yeah, no, it's terrifying. And this show scares me so much. It's 2 hours. It's live on Friday nights. The other night, suddenly like 5 flies were flying around my light. And it was like Amityville horror in here all of a sudden. And it was they all came all at once while we were doing something. So everybody... And, one guy's in Key West and one guy's in New Orleans and somebody else is in Hollywood. And every person has had something happen electrically to either their equipment, to their lights, to some object. And so
the idea of the show then is you have one person, just to get a handle on this. You have one person that comes in and does the investigation and is told where to go and what to do, like through an earpiece or something?
No, she can hear us through her phone. So,
okay.
So she's live streaming on her phone with the meter, and she's basically either pointing the camera at herself or showing us the room. And,
so the feed is coming from the phone itself?
Yes. Yeah.
No
cameraman or anything.
No, there's no one else. And often the owner of, sometimes it's a Airbnb or it's a museum or it's the other one, the scary one we did last time was a youth teen center that used to be a prison and a police station in the 1930s in Massachusetts. And they said, we have to actually lock you in and let you out at 11. So because of their security system or something, so that she couldn't get out even if she wanted to.
Oh my God.
For 2 hours, she's trapped inside these haunted places.
She pee her pants.
Oh my God, she's terrified. And it's normally the same person. Her name's Courtney Buckley. She's the bravest person in paranormal investigation out there. And so the show's fun. We have a guy who actually is a kind of a psychic Bob Ross. He'll paint a picture having never seen the place, and he'll paint something kind of accurate with figures that then we do research and we can actually find the black and white photographs of that look very much like the pictures he's painted. And he's doing it real time. So you can watch him live painting the thing as we do the 2-hour show.
I felt like a lot of weird energy at our house that we built last one, and it was a gorgeous home, but something was like just draining. And I had a friend who called me and said, there's a dead spirit in your house.
No.
Oh,
yes. And
a dead spirit. That's something
I actually
heard
woke up like one time with like a very heavy presence. And I don't know. I mean, so I kind of I do kind of think that there is something to do with that. And then like I started researching it, like got really into it, to tell you the truth. Maybe really into it. So I don't know.
Well, it makes sense for burying because technically what's left behind is electrical. I had to do electrical work on my fuse box, and part of the thing to code is you have to hammer a copper wire into the earth 6 feet down in 2 different locations, so that if anything shorts out, it goes directly into the earth and dissipates. So all electrical fields are so dependent on the ground, which is every wire you look at, there's a green wire. No matter what, you should pull out your light switch, your electrical socket. There's a green wire, and that's copper, and that's the ground, your ever vigilant wire that will save you from being electrocuted or having energy flow free from your positive and negative, right? So
you got your neutral and your hot.
Your neutral and your hot, yes, otherwise known as positive and negative. Very good, Thom. Somebody's doing something there.
I'm a licensed electrical contractor.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I used to be. I used to have a company. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Anymore. I just got tired of it.
So we all have an electric field, and some of them are different than others.
Right.
So
that process it.
Like, well, yeah, I guess, but I don't know if we process electricity. We're just always
have it.
Electricity,
right? Just like to give you an example, right? I once had this team come over, and they had like a miniature air hockey table.
Okay.
And it had all these little tiny holes in it, and it had these little goalposts and circles and everything. It really was like an air hockey table. It actually was right in the room where I'm sitting right now. And so they put this apparatus on my head, and they were able to increase my brain activity. I guess stimulate the neurons or what have you.
Yeah.
And they said, move a ping pong ball. And so I'm thinking, go.
Moving the team.
I couldn't get it to move at all. I'm like, getting all frustrated. And then I just sat back, and she's like, just let it go and just will it.
Right.
Just kind of just go.
Manifest it.
And I was able to do it. I swear to God, in this room that I'm in right now, I could move a ping pong ball all around over goalposts and everything else just by like letting go and just like not even like I just didn't think of anything. I just cleared my head and nothing. It was the blank. And I just kind of looked at it, and it did what I wanted. I didn't even really let go or kind of will it. I just let go. And I guess because I wanted it to do that, it just did it.
Well, and this is the
strangest
Elon Musk's Neuralink phenomena, right? So they just put it into paraplegic, and he can move the mouse around with his mind and talk and stuff like that. So he's the first recipient of the Elon Musk Neuralink system, which has been tested by DARPA for a long time, the Defense Department Advanced Research Project, whatever, and their $800 billion dark budget. And so they have a catalog every year that I get. I don't know why I get the DARPA catalog.
I think it's cool to get it.
Yeah, it has a little paragraph on every project they're working on. And there's a whole subsection called Wet Wired. And this is the idea that you can interface with electronic and computer systems just with your brain itself, not even having to implement any chips in there or any wires coming out from behind your ears. Basically, it's sort of a magnetic field resonator around your brain, which is probably what you were wearing. And in the military, what they're working on now is synthetic telepathy. Syntel, it's called. And so that way you don't have to yell commands to your unit. You just think it and everybody else knows it. And so you can work silently through battlefields with all of you linked together in synthetic telepathy.
Art was able to affect people's behavior, depression, happiness, right? The whole
Hearts, yeah. So
right.
I listen to sound frequencies like pretty much every night. So like if you go on YouTube, you can and it's to reprogram your subconscious.
Right, delta waves and gamma waves.
Delta, theta, and all these things. I
believe that there are UFOs submerged in the water, in the deep oceans.
I believe they can transverse the oceans. I don't know if they're down there now. Though Rob Simone was working with a submarine crew to find the entrance to a moving portal that goes into where another world exists, but he was part of a submarine crew searching for that very thing. So if there's that much invested in finding that, who am I to say that that doesn't exist? Theoretically, the Sphinx is even 4,000 years older than any of the pyramids.
Right.
So there is multi-layer archaeological phenomena. It would make sense if dinosaurs were there, because theoretically dinosaurs were everywhere. We just didn't dig enough yet to find them all.
And then there's this.
Oh yes, that computer.
Oh, so you know what it is. Good. Like this.
I mean, Archimedes was the mathematician, right? Or Pythagorean
theorem.
Right. So they knew math, they knew mechanical, they knew engineering. Yeah. It would be dumb not to put them all together in a device, particularly if you're transversing the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's 2,000 years old.
Yeah, right.
So
and try build one today. Just go, hey, yeah, I need something that'll do moon charts and tell me distances.
Yeah. What that'll like? Yeah.
It has to be aliens. I don't know how to build.
We were talking about the pyramids earlier, and I keep talking about my floor. I had tile floor put in here, and this is hardly level. And so I'm thinking to myself, where do we go with this? Because it just seems to me like we had this conversation with David Altman that those pyramids, those who started to build those never got to see it finished. It took a lot longer than the lifespan of a lot of those people who worked on it.
Or maybe they did. They just were in a different form when they did.
Oh, there's ghosts.
They didn't get buried properly, and they're
still there.
I mean, I think reincarnation was kind of a thing too that they believed in for sure. So I do too. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe you see things. It's just not in the time.
The engineers have to come back time and time again until it's finished.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be terrible. Yeah, I would not be pleased to have to come back and go back to work on the same project I started.
Can you imagine? You'd be like,
well, we're going to be in your chat.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Friday.
Are you live in there too?
We all live. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, me too. I'm the live host. Yeah.
Oh well, you want to? Yeah.
Normally, I'm scared and alone on a Friday night, anyway.
See,
so I might as well be scared alone
together.
What did happen?
Together. Exactly. It'd be fantastic.
Man. Thank you. I can't thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Man. It was really a pleasure.
It was.
Likewise. Talk to you soon.